You're live.
We're live, okay. All right, so title of my talk today is Law of Attraction for Business and Personal Success. How many of you would like to eliminate a mindset of fear, lack, and scarcity and be more abundant? And how many of you would like to attract more of what you want and less of what you don't want? Yeah. Great. So I'm here today to share some principles on that topic with you. And I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I was born in London in the UK, and my childhood was difficult. It was a very dysfunctional family situation that I was raised in. And there was certainly fear, lack, and scarcity was the culture, and that's what I learned. There isn't enough money, there isn't enough love, there isn't enough of anything. Don't expect to do anything very much with your life, keep in this little box. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's how I was raised, and also the idea was that life is hard and difficult and a struggle. Life is something that you get through, okay? So that was what I was presented with as a child, but the thing is, there was a part of me that never quite bought into it, because it seemed to me that there were plenty of people who had tons of money. My uncle did. He was a multimillionaire, although he was frowned upon because he had so much money. But I saw people that were very happy. And I thought, well, okay, if those people can have that, why can't I? So I promised myself when I grew up, I would see what I could do about that. And I did. After college, I got my master's in education, and I got married, and my son was born. And it was really when my son was born that I made a point of decision. Do you know what I mean when you have a point of decision in your life and you think, okay, if I carry on like this, I'm going to transmit all this fear and anger and pain that I had been stuffing down. I'm just going to transmit it to him and raise him in the same kind of mindset, and then we're going to have another person on the planet unhappy and searching for answers. So why don't I do something about this now to save him all that suffering, and also see if my childlike spirit was right, that there is a better way. Yes, and there is, and I'll tell you how I found it. So I started searching around, and I was interested in meditation, but I thought meditation meant sitting in silence in that lotus posture, and I simply couldn't do it because I had too much emotional turmoil, too much mind chatter, and I heard about a series of expressive meditation techniques by a teacher called Osho, who was in India. One of the most popular of these techniques is the laughter meditation, but there's a whole range of them. There's humming and crying, and there's dancing, and a dynamic technique, a gibberish technique, and the whole idea of them is to express out all your tensions, whether they're emotional, mental, or physical, and then it's very easy to drop down to your center, to that place of calm and peace and joy, which we all have within us. It's our soul and our heart. So I went off to India with my little baby son in tow. By this time, my marriage had fallen apart. So it just seemed like one of those times in your life, when everything falls apart.
Go to India.
Well, I can save you the trip to India with what I've learned. But when everything is falling apart, I want to encourage you all with that now. It's actually often a good thing. And there's a saying I heard, out of chaos, stars are born. And my stars were born. Because I started practicing all these techniques. And all this programming that was false, the fear, lack, and scarcity, which is false programming, it is a lie, it is not the truth about who we are. We are abundant beings living in an abundant universe. That is our true nature. Our true nature is love, is joy, is peace. Looking at this world, you wouldn't think that was the case, but it is the case. It is the truth. And what I found when all this false conditioning fell off of me was I found my creativity as a writer, as a speaker. I loved being a mom. And I found my authentic self, the real me, my laughter and my tears. And when I came back to the United States, actually, and I started, because by this time I had realized that what my purpose was to share everything I had learned in this transformation that had happened for me. And I was giving a talk in a bookstore in San Francisco, and the manager there loved my talk so much, she talked about me all over New York, and I got a phone call from the editor of Ballantine Books in New York, saying to me, "Are you going to write a book?" Is that a miracle or what? Is that law of attraction or what? So I wrote a proposal. I obviously got an agent pretty easily. I wrote a proposal, and I saw there was a bidding war over my book. This was my first book, and I sold it for over 6 figures to Penguin in New York. And I thought, see, people kept asking me, "How did you do that?" And I thought, how did I do that? Okay, I thought I need to sit down and just figure this out, because obviously I was doing something and I was connecting to law of attraction intuitively. So I started to study law of attraction, and this is what I want to share with you today, how all this works, because it's incredibly powerful. So the first thing about law of attraction is that we get what we vibrate. So what we put out comes back, positive or negative. If you think about the vibe scales on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the most negative and 10 being the highest vibe, then you want to be up at an 8, 9, 10. Yes? You want to keep your vibes up. So our job is to mind our own vibration. Because the law of attraction is a one-trick pony. It only does one thing. It matches. It doesn't care if you're some big Hollywood movie star or if you are a rickshaw driver in Calcutta. It doesn't care. It doesn't care what you want or what you don't want. It just matches. So it's very simple. And this is a universal law that's been around since the beginning of time. And I'm sure you've experienced it in things like something happened out of the blue or out of nowhere there, so you're about to call someone and they call you, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's going on all the time, 24/7, this vibrational law. What I had learned and what I want to share with you is how to deliberately practice it. And that requires awareness. And this is where the meditation aspect comes in, because meditation is awareness. Now maybe you think, like I used to, that meditation means sitting in the lotus position, chanting mantras for 10 hours a day. Let me bust that myth right now. Meditation is awareness. It's that simple. It's about being in the present moment. When you're in the present moment, when you are aware, you know what's going on with your vibes. So let's say you're feeling great, you're up at an 8, 9, 10 vibe, and you have a conversation with somebody on the phone, and you hang up the phone and you feel like, oh, you don't feel good. Your vibes have dropped. Have you had an experience like that? Yeah. Now here's where the responsibility comes in, because what I used to do is blame the other person. Yes. No, we have to take responsibility because we create our reality. I'm going to say that again because it's really important. We create our reality, good or bad. So, if you have one person or several people in your life that you start to notice your vibes go down around them, time for some self-inquiry. Time to have a look inside and see why you are creating these people in your life, because you're creating them. If you want to keep them in your life or not. Because one of the important things about law of attraction is we want to surround ourselves with high vibe people. Yes?
Yes.
Like this group, yeah? Where everybody has an intention of expanding themselves and being positive and being supportive of others as well as for yourself. Yes? So the awareness is to help us pay attention to what is going on inside of us so that we keep our vibes up. And when you make this a practice, it's very powerful. I practice this every day, even though I've been doing it for years. I still practice it every day. And it's very easy. Like, for example, I recently won a weekend at the Miraval Resort and Spa in Tucson, Arizona. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's incredibly expensive. It's Oprah's favorite spa. And I won it. So I went there a few weeks ago, and it was extraordinary, and plus the fact I didn't even have to pay for it. So this is law of attraction. People say to me, well, how did you win? How do we win these things? It's insane. You can't know how you won something. But what I do know is I practice. Everything I'm sharing with you, I practice every day to keep my vibes up. Yes? And some things we get, and some things we don't get. But this I can tell you, we always get what we vibrate. We might not get what we want, but we will get what we vibrate. So everything that's happening, good and bad, is a message for us that, you know, that somehow we're on the right track or somehow we're not on the right track. And I have three main principles I want to share with you of how you can deliberately practice this. And the first one is be clear. Be clear on what you want. The more clearly you ask for what you want, the more likely you are to get it. So if a kid wants a new bicycle, he tells everybody, he's got pictures of bicycles all around his room, he's always going down to the bicycle store. What are his chances of getting a new bicycle?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yes. Because he's clear on what he wants. So the clarity is important. And here's where some people, they fall down a bit here with law of attraction, is because they tend to focus on what they don't want. You know, people who complain a lot and tell you everything that's wrong with their lives. That doesn't help nothing. So avoid people who do that, but maybe, and also notice if you do that, because it gets very subtle. Because I started to notice when I was doing that, it was really subtle. And I was like, oh, wait a second, Brigitte, stop, you know, with those thoughts or those words. Focus on what you want. Focus on the positive, because what we focus on expands. So you can just think of something right now of what you want, and it might be, let's say you want more clients. Most business people want more clients, yes?
Yes.
So write a list of your ideal client. Because what you're looking for is a match. Remember, the law of attraction matches. So you want clients who are a good match. Do you want clients who are broke?
No.
No. You want clients who are willing to pay for your services because they value your services. So they will find the money because they think you are of such great value. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
They're respectful, they pay on time, they value you, they're willing to give you referrals. Does this sound like an ideal client?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you make a list for your ideal clients, so you recognize them when you meet them. And also recognize when you're getting the vibe that this isn't a good match for me. I got a call from a woman I know just last Monday, and she wants to introduce me to her boss who has some online business and wants teachers to do courses and so on. And at the end of the call she said to me, "Brigitte, I love your energy." And I said to her, "I love your energy too." See, we're a match. We just like each other. We dig each other. And people do business with people they like. Yes?
Yes.
So keep that in mind so that you don't waste a lot of time on people who are not a good match for you. But you want people as your clients, for example, or whatever it is that you want. You're looking for a match because that's where the law of attraction will really, really help you. So be clear. The second principle I want to share is pay attention. Again, this is where the meditation practices come in with awareness. Pay attention to what it is that you want. When you have successes, when things happen that are good, share them. What have I shared today so far? Winning the Mirabelle weekend, the woman who called me on Monday, yes? Mm-hmm. Share your successes. She called me out of the blue. So there we are. I had no idea she was having these thoughts about connecting me to her boss. So we have to remember with law of attraction, there's all kinds of things going on out there that we don't know about. So who are we to decide everything? Yes? We must open and trust. The universe has our best interests at heart. The universe wants us to succeed. And it's doing its best for us. And all we have to do is be open to it. And practice these techniques and be aware that there's a lot going on we don't know about. And all kinds of unexpected things can happen. So we want to pay attention, celebrate our wins, share them, notice them. Things happen every day. Every single day, good things happen. Now, I know some days are a bit topsy-turvy. Things, don't always go our way. But what you can see if you can do with this practice when you're aware of it and doing your deliberate practice is to notice the good amongst the topsy-turviness. Yes? Because I found it's always there. And I just try and focus there, Because sometimes we have these old habits from this old programming we have had of looking at the negative. This is the way I was raised. Everything was looking at the negative. I don't know how I survived it all, but I did. If I can survive that, you certainly can. So it can become very subtle. That we pay attention every day to what is positive that is happening. And principle number 3 is allowing or receiving. Now this one is often the most difficult for people with law of attraction. Because we've asked for something, so where is it? And then we get impatient, and so we give up. Oh, this doesn't work. And they go into kind of passive aggressivity about it, and I'm not going to bother doing this anymore. So we have to really remember to surrender to the universe, to surrender our requests to the law itself. And what is right for us will come to us, unless we sabotage it in some way. A long time ago, somebody gave me a brand new car. But as I was still in the grip of the fear, lack, and scarcity programming, you know what I did? I totaled the car. because I couldn't receive it. Because I had this unconscious belief that I wasn't worthy of being given a brand new car because